Okay.
On the day LRA bands raided Ellen Ariamo's village, she was only 12 years, yet the events of the harrowing day will forever remain etched in Ariamo's mind. Both her parents were abducted and later killed. A home which was bustling with life was reduced to a grim scene of sorrow and anguish. Ariamo and her siblings were orphaned, and as the eldest among her siblings, Ariamo became the head of the household. She took refuge at her uncle's home to escape the challenges of feeding her family. But it would later dawn on her that the road ahead was not rosy. While staying at her uncle's place, Ariamo and her siblings were subjected to hard labor and denied the opportunity to go to school. At 16, misfortune struck again as Ariamo sank further into a world of despair.
I was just 16 years old. As a girl, my work is to go to the forest to collect firewood. So one day when I went to the forest, I met a man. So this man demanded that he wanted to see me. And thereafter he pushed me because he had all the power and he had to rape me that day.
She became pregnant as a result of the defilement.
It's from that time that I started remembering the death of my mother. When the neighbor started narrating to my uncle and the wife what exactly happened when I was in the forest, he instead started barking and said that was what you intended.
Ariamo fled her uncle's home and began living with her aunt. She was received warmly and treated well. Later on, she met a man who was willing to take her as a wife. What started as a match made in heaven would turn into a nightmare.
My husband one night, when we were already asleep, he used to sleep in the camp, in the IDP camp. But that day he came back in the night, forcing himself to rape my first daughter, the one that I came with. They lit alarm. On seeing the person who is next to her is her stepfather, and the son of the man was also there really. I could not believe it.
When Ariamo's daughter was defiled, it only evoked the bitter perils of her own upbringing. She became suicidal after the husband began beating her.
Life was as difficult. I would get insult, not only me, but the children. He would abuse me the whole night, he would abuse the children. Every now and then we are fighting. I decided to tell the children, I'm going to commit suicide.
For close to 20 years, many people suffered during the time of the LRA insurgency in northern Uganda. Just like Ellen, the many with a similar compelling story to tell, but only few have managed to put their lives together and prosper with just a grain of hope.
Gulu District Farmer Association helped me a lot. One thing is through the role model men, they encouraged me to join the Village Saving and Loans Association. I also realized that from this conversation that we have with the team members, there are people like me who are experiencing the same problem.
The first time when I came here, she was in a terrible life with the 4 children she has. This is the 5th one now, but life was not easy for her.
I have about 4 acres of land, and all what you are seeing, I got the money from the Village Savings and Loan Scheme.
Civil society organizations operating in northern Uganda attest to such anecdotes like Ariamo's.
So they bring for you a girl who is pregnant, maybe. She's possibly 6 months pregnant, and you're being told she was defiled, but maybe after the first defilement, the second one occurred, and now she was actually asked to go and stay with the man who was responsible.
Even after peace returned to northern Uganda, cases of domestic violence are still prevalent.
We have many cases of child mothers. I could call them child mothers. Those ones who have children but they are under the age of being mothers. You get them, but when a case is not reported, of course, there's nothing much we can do. But we are sensitizing them still.
On the day the world celebrates the International Day of Peace, Many innocent children like Ariemo was once before the LRA killed her parents become victims of conflict and bloodletting. Suhail Mugawi, NTV, Gulu District.